No matter how old you are, the question of how much have you saved is a very important question. If your savings are currently in an IRA or 401k, that's amazing. You're way ahead of the game. If they are not, you may want to consider opening an IRA. Now, once you are saving money inside an IRA or even just a regular brokerage account, we can swing trade to increase and compound our profits. I trade every day and I record every day. In reference to my recordings, if you are unable to make the trades or copy them the same day I make them, you can make them 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days later, because the trades that I'm trying to make are momentum swing trades, trades that may last for weeks or months. Well, if you've got the following stocks, you may want to sell. Well, the S&P 500 and investors today like the information for the consumer inflation data from Jay Powell this morning. It was right in line. Some of it was even a little bit less. So the big fears of the tariffs really hitting hard and increasing inflation at a massive rates just isn't coming to fruition yet. And because it was so light, S&P 500 has been moving up all day. So that's good for us. So hopefully with the inflation data being so good this morning, that we'll get a little bit more volume and demand down here affecting the MACD. We've got a slow curve coming around. Hopefully that'll start going on upwards. And if we can get a crosshair today, and especially tomorrow, maybe we'll have the rest of the week and on into next week, just going on an upward trend. That would be nice. With that said, let's just go ahead and start taking a look at our sell alerts right now. First one is DraftKings. We currently have 8. Yesterday, we had a crossover yesterday of the fast-moving average over the slow-moving average, and we have a continuation of price moving downward today. Or rather, not price moving downward. We are higher than we were yesterday, but we have a continuation keeping the fast moving line below the slow moving line. And when we have that confirmation, I like to sell out of all of the stocks that we are available or are available to sell. I currently have one book, which is 4 of the 8 of the 2 books we have. So we'll set a sell order for the other 4. 2, 3, 4. Now these 4 we purchased at $44.85. So again, price is already lower than that. With our purchase price here at $44.85, we take the first digit, we take 10% of that, which is 4 cents, and we will add 4 cents to, we'll round it to 86. So our seller is going to be $44.90. $44.90. We've got good till cancel and extended hours, confirm and send. So there's our 2 sell orders, and if price spikes up while it's on a downward trend, great. We'll make extremely small profits. All right, our next sell alert that we had is for gold, which is an ETF, the Spider Gold Shares ETF, which tracks gold, the price of gold. Yesterday, we had price fall below both moving averages, and we have price continuation downward today. We currently have 4 books, each book of 1. Now, when price typically falls below the fast-moving average, that's a sell order. That's a sell alert to sell 1 book. And then we have price fall below the slow-moving average. That's another alert to sell another book. Since they both fell at the same time on the same day, on yesterday, we're going to set a sell order for 2 books. Now, the lowest price we have purchased of those 2 books is $313. So we'll move on over to our watch list. This up, right click in here. We want to sell. We're going to sell 2 books, which happens to be 1 share each, because I max out at 4 total with the gold ETF shares. So we're looking to sell 2. And we look at our first digit, which is the hundreds place of 3. 10% of that would be 30 cents. So our sell order is going to be $313.30. 313.30. We have good till cancel, extended hours. Confirm and send. And there's R2. I mean, for 3 months here, we're looking at gold's basically been $300 and up to $317. We're just looking at roughly a $17 range for 3 months. Now, if we look at the MACD, we've got a slow downward overall trend. It's trending downward. And just like the fast moving average, which we've got the MACD line that looks like it's going to be turning over. And if it crosses downward and brings the signal line with it, especially below the midline of the histogram, which is right here, this is the midline, the histogram, then we might be going in a downward trend for gold for the short term. Doesn't really matter. If it does go down, gold is going, it's a bullish commodity, so it's just going to continue to go up over time. All right, our next one is Moody's. Take a look. That is MCO. Okay, what do we have here? I currently have 2 shares. We have price trigger yesterday with the downward over the fast moving line. However, we have price moving back up and back across the fast moving line. So we will not be doing anything with Moody's. We'll move on to an ETF, XLU. It's an ETF tracking the utility sector. XLU. So yesterday we had price move down below our fast moving average. However, today we do have a confirmation in a downward trend. We're on the 3rd down day. However, we currently have price moving up. Now it dropped down to 85.51 was the low of the day. And we're slowly moving up. And the current price is higher than the close of yesterday. And with the S&P 500 moving up and the types of companies that are making it move up are mid cap and small cap. We've got more movement in mid cap and small cap today than we do just alone in high tech and technology. So because we do have price moving up and we've got more of the market moving up, this is not a hard downtrend. If price was lower than yesterday's price at close, I'd go ahead and sell. Another thing we also have is our price currently is higher than all 4 of these and all 8 of these. I currently have 16 shares. And all 16 shares were purchased at a lower price than we are now. So we've got a little bit of cushion. If price does fall for the rest of the day and into tomorrow, unless it's a huge spike downward, it'll just reduce our overall gains by a nominal amount. All right, we had another alert for NRG, which is an energy company. Now, this alert was triggered 4 days ago when we had this cross. We've just been looking at it every day since, and it just doesn't want to make up its mind. Which investors are going to win? Is it going to be the short sellers, or is it going to be people selling out, or the bulls who are trying to make it go up and long? Energy is one of the stocks that I currently day trade. I've already traded 24 shares today. If we go ahead and pull up a 1 day, 1 minute chart, that'll give you a better indication of where we bought and where we sold. Now, these were not this purchase. These were from a previous purchase from another day that we had been holding on to, a seller that we had previously set. So here we bought, sold there for 10 cents. We bought here. We bought here. We bought here. We sold there for 10 cents. We sold these, which is either one of these here. Then we bought here and we sold there. So there's a little bit clear indication for what we've done today. So we'll go back to our 3 month, 1 day chart. If you're new to my videos and you're seeing this for the first time, I have two strategies that I work in this particular account. One strategy is strictly a swing trading account within roughly 200 shares of stocks that I own. And those stocks I deem to be long-term holdings, so I swing trade in and out of those as price moves on the daily chart. And then every week I pick 32 stocks that I believe are going to do well at the beginning of the week, and I day trade those. So with that being done, we're going to move and take a look at yesterday's stocks that we didn't do anything with that had triggers. One is Monster Energy Drink. All right, so we bought 12 shares, which is 4 books of 3 each per book. We sold half of them at earnings. When we have earnings, I like to sell half of the books that I have. If it's an even number, I sell half. If it's an odd number, then I round down to 1. So we made some profit on these 6 shares. Fortunately, price went in our direction and went in our favor. So we've increased our profits on 6 shares of Monster Energy Drink. Now we had a downward movement of the previous 2 days. If this had continued its move down, then we would be selling 6 shares at a lower, less profit than yesterday, but it's moved up on us. So that's great. I hope it continues its move up. We've got a strong move on the MACD, both the signal line here and the MACD line are both moving up. We've got volume here that's increasing in volume. We have a strong move on the RSI, so hopefully we'll just continue to have a move up, especially since the mid caps and small caps are really broadening out. So the last one that we have to look at on our sell list, and this is from 2 days ago as well, is LNG. Now on this, our last purchase was of 4 shares. That's 4 blocks, each block consisting of 1 share. We bought back here, so price is already lower. We did set a sell order, 2 sell orders for 2 shares, so we actually have nothing to do. This will ride out until we have a cross. When we do have a cross eventually of the fast moving average past the slow moving average and we have confirmation, I will set sell orders for the remaining 2 shares of LNG that we have. All right, now that is all of our sell orders. Now we can't sell any stocks unless we buy some stocks, but before we do, if you could please hit that like, share, and subscribe button so I can help more people. If you have any questions on my process on how I choose to sell, or in this particular case, how I choose to buy my stocks, please reach out and let me know. Now it's time to take a look at our buy alerts. Now we're going to look at one left over from yesterday, which is Taiwan Semiconductor. And the reason I'm looking at this is because 1, we have the markets moving up. 2, this is in the semiconductors. It's Taiwan Semiconductor. They manufacture the majority of chips for the other companies like NVIDIA and AMD and Broadcom. So they are the #1 chip manufacturer. We have price moving up. I typically do not buy when price is below, when the fast moving average is below the slow moving average, but we do have the MACD moving up. We also have, we have sort of a level RSI. Now TSM, I usually, my full book is 4 books, each book of 2, so that would be 8 shares. So I'm only going to purchase 1 book of 2 shares. And tomorrow we'll see what price action does. Hopefully it'll go in our direction. I typically don't buy when the price action of the fast moving line is beneath, but we're looking at 4 days of continual climb and they're just running parallel to each other. So I'm going to take advantage of that and hopefully catch a continued climb upward. Now we actually had an alert, I believe, that was triggered for a purchase, and this is Uber. And we have a cross today. Let's go ahead and take a look at their earnings. That was 4 or 5 days ago. They had We're just looking at roughly 3 cents higher of the actual earnings over the estimates. That's not huge. All the experts and analysts, many analysts expect Uber to continue its climb upward. Unfortunately, the cross is today. We don't have a strong upward movement, and our MACD line and signal line are both below the histogram. We do have somewhat of a trending upward on the RSI, so we'll wait until tomorrow to see if we have confirmation for Uber moving upwards, and if we do, then we'll go ahead and purchase Uber tomorrow. And another trigger is Natera, NTRA. Right, we had earnings. We had a good earnings. We previously had 2 shares, rather 2 books, and each book is of 2. With Natera, I like to have 8 shares, which is 4 books of 2. Now, if I remember correctly, the earnings on here wasn't that great. Yeah, we went down. We went from a negative 60 estimated to a negative 74 cents. So we're looking at 14 cent downward in the earnings per share. But we have a cross on the daily chart. We've got a confirmation. We had the cross yesterday. We've got a confirmation today. And we have huge moves on both the MACD and the RSI. So we're going to purchase the other 4 shares. See if we can get it a little less. It's not going. So we're going to get 161.40. So there's 4 shares of our Natera at 161.39. All right, with that purchase done, we're going to go ahead and cancel any sell orders that I have that's already existing prior to the crossover. Once we have the crossover and it's confirmed, I cancel all sell orders. We don't want price to one morning, like tomorrow morning, we come in and it's gone up $15 and it just keeps going. We don't want to sell at a lower price than we possibly could have. Excuse me, we don't want to sell at a lower price when we possibly could have sold it at a higher price. All right, so we've been looking at one since last week. We have SoFi. That price has been just moving within a range. It's been moving within this range. And yesterday, if you saw yesterday's video, we were hoping that we might get across one direction or the other, whether we have a price breaking out of this range or, you know, an upward trend, or out of the range in a downward trend. Doesn't matter to me. I would prefer that we have a definitive direction of travel for price. That way I don't have to keep looking at my list and going back several days, or even some stocks we look at that are several weeks we've been looking at. Now, we actually had the cross on SoFi 3 days ago, which would have been Thursday. We had the cross on Thursday. We did have confirmation, but I did not repurchase because it was in a downward trend. Then we had further confirmation on yesterday, but we were still within this range. So I chose to wait until we have a breakout of the range, and we do. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase one block. SoFi, I purchased in blocks of 18. So when I have all 4 blocks, we would total out at 72. So we're going to put in 18 here, and we're going to purchase hopefully at 23.63, and we did. And hopefully price will continue up. Now we have one more to look at, and we've been looking at this for a month, I think. Ross Stores. Since we had this cross, I did not purchase at this cross. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, and you're seeing this for the first time, I use multiple charts to determine whether I'm going to buy or sell. I just don't use this particular chart, the daily chart. So if we look at the monthly chart, we'll see that the fast moving average is below the slow moving average, and typically I don't like to purchase any stocks when we have the moving averages crosswise. Now this is crosswise to me. We don't want crosswise moving average. However, we've got a strong move up. Ross Stores is a mid cap stock. Excuse me, I misspoke there. Ross Stores is a large cap stock, and I'm considering purchasing one share. For Ross, I have 4 books of 1, but the problem is we don't have a great deal of volume this month. We've got price moving up, but it's not on a great deal of volume. If we had price moving up on volume, that typically is a good sign. Low volume, not typically a great sign. It's the least volume bar of shares overall that's been moved in the last 3 months here. Excuse me, man, another brain fart. 3 years. The timeline on here is 3 years, but the aggregation is a month. So let's go back to our daily chart, 3 month, 1 day. Here again, we don't have a great deal of volume today. If you look, when we have price action moving in either direction with volume, for example here, it usually carries on for several days in the overall direction. For the day we had high volume and whichever direction the candle traveled or price traveled. And if we continue to look at, if we go back to this volume, wasn't huge, not compared to May here, May 23rd, but it did continue down for a few more days. Then we had next volume bar. We could say it just consolidated, didn't really go anywhere. Next highest volume ended up going that direction. But because this is low volume, I am not going to make a purchase. I was considering it, but we're not going to. We have the price, fast moving price average below the slow moving price on the 1 month chart. We have, even though we've got good price action, we've got great movement here. It's prices significantly above our fast moving average, and it's a significant distance from our slow moving average, which is usually a good sign. We also have good MACD movement. However, as we have price action moving up, we have overall volume slightly going down. So because we have a multitude of factors and I have some rules that I like to follow and I try to adhere to pretty strictly, we're going to pass on Ross, and I'm just going to cross that off my list so I won't keep looking at it. I've been looking at it since basically July 11th. So we're just going to not look at this anymore until we get another alert. All right, let's take a look and see what our trading results were for the day. All right, for the day, we have a realized gains of $195.62, and our current portfolio is at 15.18% compared to the S&P 500 at 9.2%. So that's almost a 6% better performance over the S&P 500 that we have. So close these out. And we are done for the day. Hopefully, I showed you some stocks that you might be willing to purchase yourself. If you are going to follow me and possibly copy some of my trades, the best time to get in is to purchase when we are at a cross, when the fast moving average is crossing the slow moving average, or when price is moving back above either average. It can be moving back above the fast moving average or the slow moving average. So if you are thinking about copying me and making some of the trades I'm making, just be a little bit selective when you do start choosing to do that. Also, if you've seen some of my videos and you're looking at the lack of profits on the daily, I am choosing to swing trade stocks that I consider long-term holdings. And fortunately, I got roughly 25% of the stocks that I own have all been just going up for quite some time. Here's 3 months. And if we look at, let's look at AMD, that's been going up for 3 months. If we look at Amazon, that went up for almost 3 months. If we look at Broadcom, that's been going up for 3 months. So this is a 3-month chart here. If we look at AutoZone, that's not. We did a purchase here, but overall it had been going up since July 7th. If we look at, let's look at Carnival Cruise Lines. Here we're looking at a 3-month. So when a lot of the stocks are going up, I really don't have a great deal of selling to do. So I do buy in and out depending on these crosses. And the reason I do that is just to create gains, or profits rather. Here I sold all my Carnival Cruise Line. All of those were at a profit. But if you look, let's see if we could find, that's not a good one. So here I pulled up Bank of America. I had been holding on to 16 shares for quite some time, since before Liberation Day, when Donald Trump announced what the tariffs that he's going to be enacting. So I sold these on the cross, and then I bought back in at 48.54, which is higher. So we missed. So I buy and sell on the crosses just to create profits. This is what I do for a living. If you're going to follow me and you want to try to capture some of these long runs, I would suggest not actually following me and making these trades that possibly are going to be in and out of the movement as it just crosses back and forth over either one of these lines, but wait until we actually have a confirmed cross of the fast moving average down over the slow moving average. You can see here on this particular cross, I bought in. And my strategy is, once price falls, if price falls lower than our purchase price, I just hold on to those shares. And the main reason I hold on to them is because of Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett has a favorite saying: the best time to sell is never. So we have that very insightful advice coming from who's considered the greatest investor of all time, Mr. Warren Buffett, coupled on the fact that I'm swing trading and day trading my long-term holdings. So when price drops, it doesn't matter to me. I plan on holding these for decades. So we'll go back, reset the SPY, and we are done for the day. Look, we got an all-time high. SP 500 reached an all-time high. So if you've just gotten into the markets, hopefully you're excited. If you're thinking about entering the markets, come on in. As scary and as difficult as getting into the markets might be, if you follow me, I might just make it a little bit easier for you and a little bit more profitable for you. So that is another day down. Actually, we're not done. I've got one more thing, and I continue to forget this part. So this is our sell list. We set a sell order for DraftKings today. That was the only thing that we did in our selling. And on our buy list, we bought Taiwan Semiconductor, we bought Natera, and we bought SoFi. If you're following me, hopefully if you did buy those Taiwan Semiconductors, that was actually a pretty good purchase point. Well, actually, all three of these were. All three of these are at good purchase points. If you choose to follow me, then at least I'm making videos every day. I won't leave you in the lurch unless something horrible happens to me. And if you don't watch this video today and you don't watch it until tomorrow or the next day, these purchases still may be a possibility, because the purchases I'm making in these videos are for swing trading. It's for long-term holdings, or well, short-term, but hopefully for a couple weeks or a couple months is a time frame that we'd really like to hold. So we'll reset here, and now we are done for the day. All right, if you've chosen to copy some of my trades, look forward to some future profits. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your day.